G'day guys, it's Adam here at Nomadic Off-Road Campers, and today I'm standing in front of one of our brand new Norca 14s, because guess what? This bad boy's being handed over to some customers. They're really excited, and you're watching this video because you're going to be excited because you're getting to unwrap your brand new caravan. So, really important, I'm going to go through some of the electrical system on board this van. All of our vans have very much got the same components and parts. Some customers will option for a 400 amp battery. The majority have got the 200 amp battery. But from the factory, this is how they will arrive. There will be no power on board because everything will be shut down. So this is also a really good way that you can store your van. If you're storing your van for long periods, you can actually shut everything down, make sure it's all off, and that way you know you're not going to lose any power. So I'm going to go through the opening procedures. If you're looking for the closing procedures, it's obviously this video in reverse. So I'm going to go through what the van will look like when it gets to you. Obviously, I've lifted up the roof, so we'll do that in a different video. But this is mainly just talking about the battery system and the DRS system on board. If you'd like to know any more information, there is an owner's manual that you can download from our website, from the customer support portal. You can also go onto the website and download the two apps that I'm going to refer to, whether you're from the Apple store or whether you're from the Android store. So let me spin this camera around and we'll start going through the opening procedures of your new Norca Nomadic off-road camper in the Norca 14. Cheers. Okay, so as I said, we are completely dead. We've got no power at all anywhere on here. And that is because we're able to isolate the battery. So the battery system on the 14, as we go in, is underneath these bench seats here. Now, battery systems have changed with all the different regulations, so you can still isolate them. They're in a vented box. This one here, you can turn the battery on. Very hard to see, but there is an on-off switch there. The other thing we need to do, we can hear the battery turn on, is we need to turn our inverter on. So we've powered that up. Now everyone's going to be sitting there going, why wouldn't you show that in the light? It's probably a good idea, but handy to have a torch. That way you can see what's going on. When we come here, we've got our battery monitor. This is the same on all vans. Now, with some of our newer vans, the battery and the inverter are actually external, so it makes a lot more sense, and I'll show you that quickly in a video. So this is looking at a Norca 18. You can see here, separate lithium battery box, inverter here. Your on-off switch for your battery is on top. Very simple, turn it on. You've got your LED lights there to show the state of charge. All your comms panels and everything's on there. So think of it like a computer though. This does have to boot up, so it's not just going to be turn on instant. It takes about 60 seconds, I reckon, to fully boot up. And then on the front, you got your RCD there for your inverter. So hit that on, and that's going to bring everything live. Let's go back to the other van. So once we've turned our battery monitor on, we can see here we will start to have power in the van. Okay, we've got battery coming in, all that sort of stuff. Now, on our website, if you go onto the customer support portal, you will see where you can download the two apps, either for Android users or for Apple users. It does have the instructions. Very much what you're going to do is turn the first app on, which is going to be the inverter charger app by Projector. You'll turn it on, make sure your Bluetooth is on. It will then prompt you to touch these two buttons for 2 seconds. What a great hand model I am. And it will flash up a 3-digit code. That code is different and unique for your van. It will ask you to type that in to the system, and that will sync the Bluetooth app to your battery system. You can then see the state of charge, what your output is, what your input is, all that sort of stuff. We will call your van the last 3 digits of your VIN number. So we will name it a Norca 14 and the last 3 digits of your VIN. The same thing for your solar controller. So you'll open up the solar controller app. You will then be asked to link to the solar controller. The solar controller is called an SC Norca and the last 3 digits of your VIN. So that's fairly easy. From there, you can see a whole heap of things. The other thing that you'll need to do is in here, we've got our DRS cover. So from the factory, we will send it out like this, just in case they are freighted and it pours down rain. Now, you are meant to put this cover on anytime you get heavy rain whilst you're driving. So be mindful of that, because you're not going to have dust when it's raining, because it's obviously going to be suppressed by the rain. That comes out, you can see the cover there. That's how it slots in. Turn it around, that's how it's stored. And you can see those two magnets on the side there. Every time it rains though, just whack that back up top and it goes in, and those two big magnets on the side clip it back into place. So that will need to happen once you've got it from the factory as well. Apart from that, everything else should start to come on. Now, let's start talking about the inverter charge system. So with the inverter charge system, it's got an AC transfer. So when you are plugged into 240 volt power or mains power, you're going to be charging your battery. It will also be overruling and running all of your 240 volt plugs internally, externally. The only one that doesn't power is going to be the socket underneath your seat, underneath that bench seat there. It's a spare socket. It's also there to run your hot water system if you want to run off 240 volt power. The reason we don't connect the hot water system to that inverter is because you can overload the system, and the reality is you're going to use gas when you're off grid. So that's why we've done it that way. Apart from that, everything else in the van, all these lights, all these fans, the fridges, are all 12 volt power. So they will work on battery. There's no ship to shore transfer. The system does it automatically. If the system starts to get low in power, it will start beeping an alarm. Go onto the app, you'll see what the alarm is. It will normally say low battery fault or low battery warning, suggesting that you get some charge into it. And that's where we've got the next part of this video. Okay, so next part of this video, we're at the front of the van now. We're on the drawbar. You can see here, we've got our Anderson plug. Now, this is connected to the DC-DC that is on board each of our caravans and campers. So what that DC-DC does is that's going to give you a direct charge from your tow vehicle while you're driving. Very important disclaimer, you need to speak to your auto electrician, not Barry from the pub, not YouTube, not all that stuff. Speak to an auto electrician to get your car correctly wired so that it will power your van whilst you're driving. If you don't do that, you run a risk of shorting the whole system out, or you also run the risk of actually not getting any power to the van. A lot of your newer vehicles now have smart chargers, so they have to put extra relays in. They also have to put boost systems in. So just be mindful to talk to your auto electrician before you go and get any advice from Macca at the pub about what needs to happen on the front of your van. Let's take a walk around the side so I can show you what else the DC-DC charger does. So on the side of the van, you can see here, I've got a 15 amp socket, 15 amp, not 10 amp. So if you don't have a 15 amp plug at your house, you can buy the amphibian systems. Again, don't just go and cut the tip off and put a 15 amp socket on. You will overload the system. If it doesn't go in there properly, it means that you're using the wrong plug. It should just be a nice, simple, easy to use system. That's on. You will actually hear the inverter charger click over to 240 volt, and that's when you know that everything's done. That will also, so when you're, if your aircon is, if you're not plugged into 240 volt power, your aircon will work, but you need to be mindful that you're going to use some battery power. So obviously use the 240 volt to get that aircon back working operationally for a longer period. All right. The other thing with the DC-DC on the side of your van is another Anderson plug socket. This is for when, if you are parked under trees or something like that, you can run a secondary solar panel input straight through there, straight through the DC-DC, and you're going to be charging your batteries that way. The solar panels are on the roof, go through a solar regulator. So they go through a 40 amp, 100 volt solar regulator. So that's what they're going through. This goes through your DC-DC. You cannot plug solar panels into the drawbar system. It just simply won't work. And when you are plugging panels in here, make sure you bypass the regulator. So you don't need the solar regulator that most of your systems will come with, because this has got regulated power on the other side. If you'd like to know more about that, give us a call. Otherwise, you can speak to an Auto Sparky and they will just reiterate what I'm trying to say there. Another thing on this side of the van is our hot water system cover. Very simple. You've got two thumbs there that you're meant to use. I can't do it because I've only got one hand. Well, there you go. I can do it using my big strong thumbs. That's how it comes off. You can see there the thumbprint. It goes on, it then pushes over and locks back in with those tabs. You don't need a screwdriver or anything like that to unlock it. That's pretty much it. So that was very much a quick video on the battery system. If you'd like to know more, by all means, give us a call. If you are unsure, give me a call. There is a lot more computerized systems now on the vans, and that's coming through with a lot more manufacturers. So if you get stuck or you want to know some questions, by all means, give me a call. The only other important thing I will say is that when you are charging, adequate ventilation. There's big signs everywhere, all over the van. Adequate ventilation. You are using a lot of power and you're using a lot of battery systems and you're using obviously batteries. So ensure you have adequate ventilation whenever you're charged or whenever you're stationary. Open the vents up, screen doors there, open up some windows. That's adequate ventilation. Have fun, guys. Enjoy the videos, enjoy your camping. If you've got questions, give us a call, 1300 696 672. Take it.